Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange, and we have a great show for you guys today. We're going to talk about the two-time award Cy Young winner that's going to retire or already retired at 37 years old. And we're going to talk about Scott Boras. We're going to talk about just a little friction there, So we'll talk about that with Rob Manfred and, little things with baseball players and everything that's going on with that. And then the jerseys, a lot of people are complaining about that, of course. And we'll talk a little bit about, Anthony Rendon and Mike Trout. There's a lot of things that's happening over here in Arizona, spring training and all that stuff. But before we start that, Ernie, how's it going, dude? Everything good over there?
Hey guys, happy to be back and happy to talk baseball with you guys in this rainy Monday here in SoCal. We're ready to get this going.
Dude, it is a rainy day. But I did see that in Arizona it's all sunny, so they're getting their practices in. They're getting all their
Oh,
stuff together. So I mean, we're all ready to go. So I'll go ahead and start the show, and we'll see you in a bit. So if you haven't
hey.
hit that subscribe button or you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and do so right now. Ernie, you got something to say? I don't know if you guys can see that there's a rival fantasy down there, and Ernie's going to tell us what that's about. We should be happy,
Sounds
right?
good. Yeah, today's show is sponsored by Rival Fantasy. Rival Fantasy is a new evolution of sports betting for fantasy sports. There's no need to wait to play for a whole season. You could go ahead and play fantasy sports gambling now for on a daily, weekly basis. And they have a lot of games like best ball coming up for baseball season, challenges to challenge your friends and coworkers, and also to play a bingo. Why not play bingo every day, Carlos, on a dollar basis and see how much money we can make? We do
That's
know a lot
true.
of stats. Might as well take advantage. So feel free to join at rivalfantasy.com/real talk baseball. Use our promo code. They also have an app, Rival Fantasy. Check it out. Have a lot of good sports betting there for you guys.
Dude, and if you want to go ahead and download the app, we have a code that you guys can use and you guys can go ahead and do it. It's in the description. And not only that, but whatever you guys put into it, you guys get back. So if you guys put 200 bucks, Rival
Yes.
Fantasy puts 200 bucks for you. So why not, right? You'll
Hey
get
man, that's
400 bucks to bet.
that's free money. That is free money to gamble with.
Yeah, we got Chew on here. How's it going, Chewy? Everything good out here, man? Thanks for coming in. We got Eddie Berto out here saying no, wearing the Halos hat. I gotta wear it. You'll know why I'm wearing it. So yeah,
Oh man,
we'll put it there. And
you want to tell the fans? Yeah. So if everybody
yeah,
knows, it's Carlos Baseball's birthday, and he's live on YouTube with you guys, joining on live. Is celebrating his birthday with us. So thank you for joining us, Carlos. We
yeah,
appreciate you.
no worries, man. It's part of the job, so we got to do it. We love talking baseball. Baseball doesn't stop, and we got to give this show because, as you know, baseball fans, we want to go ahead and give all the news that's out there. We did talk about what we were going to talk about in the beginning of the show, so let's get into it. Let's talk about Corey
Sure.
Kluber. He is going to be retiring at age 37. He did pitch last year, which he didn't do that good. He had a 7.04 ERA. He did win two Cy Youngs, which is really good, right?
Right.
But it just comes to an end, and if you're in fantasy baseball, like don't pick him. He's probably going to be on there.
Oh man.
And a lot of people are gonna like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do whatever it takes to get him. Like, nah, don't do that. Felix, how's it going, man? Everything good out here, dude? Thank you for the birthday wishes. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Hopefully everything's good. I hope you're ready for fantasy baseball.
Yeah. Well, as you said, Kluber had some memorable seasons, winning two Cy Young awards. Very memorable seasons with the Guardians now, and he was part of that 2016 World Series run with the Guardians. He had
Yeah.
his run, man, and unfortunately, he went through some injuries, and his kind of speed kind of went downhill. But he still had overall a great career, and happy to see him happy retirement.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Let's go on to the next one. We're going to talk about Rob Manfred. And a lot of people don't like Rob Manfred. We already talked about
Ooh,
how we feel about this man, you know.
yes.
But let's go ahead and talk about him because there's some things that has come out. And of course, a lot of people have heard what's going to go on with him. He's going to be signed all the way through 2029. So I'm guessing that's it, right? And I
Right.
heard you say something interesting last time, Ernie. I don't want to use it. I want you to use your own line.
Oh
You
man.
know,
So Rob Manfred signed for another 5-year contract, and he has 5 years, hopefully not to ruin the game of baseball, man. He has 5 years to improve this game, man, because his previous tenure has not been that great. A lot of fans have a lot of hate for this guy. He's done fair share of things that people don't agree with. And I think we all, as fans, MLB fans, we are ready to move on from him. And we ask ourselves, who would be the next commissioner, because we're ready to move on from Rob Manfred. Unfortunately, we have to wait 5 more years. And I'm really hoping in these 5 years he does something great for the game of baseball, or else he's going to be remembered for a really bad commissioner.
that's true. But there is some things that we need to go ahead and clarify here. He was part of the 2002 drug. I guess it was the drug part where they didn't. I'm kind of stuttering right now, but there is he was part of the drug and enhancement, I guess, to try to have the players tested,
Okay.
and that was in 2002. So that's where he started. He started making up some noise. Remember Bud Selig was the commissioner in that time, and he had him, look into it and try to get him to get all these policies in, and they did. They succeeded. That's why we found out that there's a lot of players using steroids, right? So then the years go on. Bud Selig saw him as one of the candidates to take over his job once Bud Selig was going to go ahead and finish his tenure. uh,
Mhm.
One memorable thing that happened with Manfred that gave him this job was the thing that he did in 2014, where he went ahead and told him that he wanted to go ahead and eliminate a lot of things from baseball to where they had to have time. And he's been planning this for a long time. It's not one of those things where he just decided to be like, oh, I'm the commissioner now. I'm going to go ahead and do it. No, it started from way back 2012, 2014. He
Yes.
implanted this idea. He decided to say, you know what? We need to have less commercials. We need to have less, propaganda. Let's have more game. And, he succeeded with it. Right now, we can't even tell of time. I remember last year, I was one of the ones that's saying, I don't want time. It's the only sport that doesn't have time. Why are we going to have time? So he's the reason why this happened. It moves on to the years where 2017 happened with the cheating scandal, which was a slap in the hand to the Astros. A lot of people felt that he could have gone a lot stronger. They could have,
Right.
they could have sanctioned his team. They could have, took away some draft picks. I don't know. Who knows? Everybody's like he just decided to give him like immunity and not go further. So that's why a lot of people don't like him. Then we get to 21-22 season where the strike happens.
Yes.
Like they didn't come to an agreement. They decided to wait till March 1st. I don't know if you guys remember, baseball was extended all the way to November. So that's because he couldn't fix that going on, whatever. Yeah,
Hmm.
so it's a lot of things he did. But one of the things that he has done, and I think everybody would agree, is the WBC. He put more attention to it. He decided to go ahead and make it one of those big things where everybody should participate, not just the players that are not getting a lot of playing time. A lot of all stars went to this. It was exciting last year, Ernie. It was your first time on Real Talk Baseball, and we were
Yes.
covering every game. Wasn't it exciting, right? It was really
It really
exciting.
was.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where he has more negative things, but you got to look at the positives too, right? As
Right.
a baseball fan, you're not going to get to see that until later on.
Right. And I do have a couple positive things for Manfred. As much as I don't like the guy, and I will tell you that most, probably 90% of MLB fans don't like the guy, he has done some great things for the game of baseball. He has changed the pace of the game. A lot of people at the end of the day did not complain about the timing. We actually enjoyed watching games under 2 hours and a half, and that was great for the game of baseball. Now, another thing that he needs to focus on these next 5 years, and it's crucial for the game of baseball, is that he needs to find a way to figure out these blackouts in local markets. Now, the issue is that a lot of people that would pay for MLB TV for the rest of the year, they can't watch the local team in their neighborhood, which is kind of unfortunate, right? You have to pay for cable services plus that, and then you have a lot of teams losing like their issues with Bally Sports these days. So there are a lot of fans are stuck not being able to watch their teams. So if he was able to figure out this blackout situation, this would change the whole game and grow the game of baseball, because I feel like MLB is going on its way to going more into streaming services now. I'm not sure if you guys
Yeah.
noticed last year, but a lot of the games were on Apple TV on Friday nights. Sunday mornings was on Peacock, and a lot of fans were kind of upset, like, what is going on? We're not being able to watch our teams. I remember a couple years ago, Pujols hitting number 700, and it was on Apple TV, and
Oh
almost
yeah.
half of the MLB fans were not able to watch it. It was kind of unfortunate. So that's something he has to fix. If that's something he fixes, that would be great for the game. And another one, I know he wants to add 2 more expansion teams to the MLB. We currently have 30 MLB teams. A lot of sports leagues out there have 32, like the NBA and NFL. Sorry, NFL's only one with 32. And I think it gives a good idea to bring 2 new franchises to the market, right? Wouldn't Nashville be a nice area to go visit? Utah presented a way they could build a stadium around their downtown area. That would be awesome to go to Salt Lake City as well. So
Yeah.
I think that would be great for the game of baseball. And lastly, one last thing I feel like Manfred has to do is figure out this ace situation with Oakland. If you're currently Oakland's in the moving to Vegas in the next couple of years, and I don't know how I feel about it, man. This is going to be the A's 4-time moving in MLB history. They started with the Philadelphia A's, Kansas City A's, Oakland A's, and now they're about to be the Las Vegas A's. I don't really like it. Maybe they're going to find a way to keep Oakland closer. Maybe they just move to Sacramento, and that would be better for them. So, man, there's a lot of things. Manfred has
a lot of things.
He has a tough job to handle for the next 5 years, because if he doesn't figure it out, MLB fans will be really frustrated and will want him out sooner.
Dude, so you know what's crazy? Like, I feel like we're hating on him right now because it's happening right now. But 10 years down the line, once he's not doing the job, are we going to be one of those like, damn, he did do good for the game. He did what he needed to do. It's just we didn't expect, or we didn't want things to change, cuz you know when you have your sport and you feel like, "Oh man, don't change that. That's a crucial part of the game." And it does change and you don't even notice, and then years go by and you're like, you know what, good thing that they changed it. I was alive when that happened. So I mean, once it gets there, we'll figure it out, right? One thing that did come up from Manfred this week, he said that he would like to have a deadline to sign free agents. And yeah, that's one of the things that we were talking about. Wouldn't that be crazy if he does go ahead with it? Because if it does, that'll kind of get on other people's skin, on their skin, like Scott Boras. Ding, ding, ding,
Ooh.
ding.
What's
So,
going on, man? Spring training starts this week, and we have all these notable free agents still without a team, and it's kind of concerning. We mentioned it the past couple weeks. Like, what the hell, Scott Boras is holding these guys back? These guys, I know they want to get paid, but something has to get done. And I feel like the owners are not trying to work with Scott Boras, and they're trying to prove a point this year. And I think they're ready to move on from him. Scott Boras is at age 71 now, and he's still working. And I'm like, dude, you need to retire and let somebody else handle these talks, because at this point of life, man, just enjoy it. Enjoy watching baseball and enjoy retirement, because, man, Scott Boras at this point, I'm not sure if I'm being a big fan of him right now.
yeah,
I know these players deserve to get paid, but at the same time, as MLB fans, we're the ones here struggling. Free agency hasn't been fun. And I know if you have like a deadline, what about if it's just like a month deadline? I know soccer does it, and it's really popular where it's talked about. And, you try to make sure that all these deals are done by that month. And the hot stove would be great for baseball, man. December free agency winter meetings were the best things for me as a kid growing up, and seeing how these players were going to go to different places. But now with Boras being in the hand and holding these players back, I don't know what to do, man. It sucks for us.
it does. It does suck. You know what? And we talked about it a week and 2 weeks ago about Scott Boras holding these players hostage. You have Snell, you have Montgomery, you have Chapman, you have Bellinger, you have JD Martinez, you have one more. I'm thinking about Hyunjin Ryu. Like, these are top notch players right now. That he's pretty much waiting to see. All right, you go ahead and make that offer and see if I bite. So they're kind of standing off, like having like a standoff, and be like, I don't really need him right now. But look at the Yankees. Look at the Angels are in the run for Snell. The Giants are in the runs for Snell. But I think both sides, Scott Boras, meaning he's the agent for these players, he's holding off because he's probably seeing, wait, you need my players, and I'm not going to go ahead and bite on the low offer. So I'm going to wait. You have the Yankees that need a big time pitcher. They do have a good starting rotation, but remember the Orioles did make that trade for Corbin Burns, so that made that division a little bit tougher to win the division without the top notch starting rotation.
Mhm.
So who's winning right now? I feel like Scott Boras, even though we're talking bad about him because he's holding off these players, I think he's winning right now, and I think he
I think
has.
so.
I think so because he's going to be holding off until these teams figure, wait, I need to get this starter on my team, and that's Blake Snell. And I'm talking about Blake Snell, and I'm not talking about Cody Bellinger. I'm talking about the other guys. And I'll go ahead and post this again because I do see these players on here. And I mean, I don't know what other team you're thinking of, like another player going to maybe the Rangers, but I don't see the
Right.
Rangers making these offers right now,
No, not
right?
at all. It's between the Cubs, the Yankees, the Giants that has money, and the Padres. It's kind of weird, man. I don't know. I'm kind of concerned. Is Scott Boras just going to wait until April until a major injury happens and these teams are going to get desperate and finally pay what they're really worth?
And that's what we have to wait because as baseball fans, there's no deadline. There's the spring training just started. There's no anybody that's telling you you have to sign these players by this date. So there's no urgency for these guys to get there. Once they sign, they're gonna start their spring training. So now they're late because pitchers
Yes.
and catchers already reported. So now they're late. Now we have to wait for them. Now you have to wait, let's say a month for these guys to get into it, unless they're doing something at home, but that's different than doing it with a trainer, right?
With the
So
live BP and live pitching sessions,
yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
a deadline. Would you like a deadline? We didn't even answer that question. Would you
Ooh,
like that deadline?
I want it as a
Yeah,
fan. I want it. Yeah, for sure. I would give it 2 months and give an option, at least December, January, because you got to be ready for pitchers and catchers to report.
because
I'm all for it.
I'm pretty sure if that happens, there's going to be a penalty if you sign them after, right?
Yes.
And I think that's what happens in soccer. If they sign them, they have to go through some I guess
The
I don't know
tax
what's called.
fee.
Yeah, there's a fee they have to pay and everything that goes with it. So I don't think Scott Boras would want or like that, but he is on the older side. I know he's gonna have his own law. He still has his own law firm. He's gonna have these, new guys coming in and try to do the same thing. But I just feel like for right now, I think he has the upper hand, dude.
Ooh.
And I don't know. Like I would like it. I would like it, and I would welcome it to baseball. So if Rob Manfred does that, I think it'll do good for the game. And like I said, 10 years down the line, we're gonna look at this and we're like, damn, he did a good job, and he did do a good job with the WBC. I'm not saying all negatives, but I
All right.
guess
I got a question for you though.
yeah, go for it.
Who's the worst of them two though? Boris or Manfred?
Okay, so for right now, I'm gonna go ahead, Boris. Why? Because he has increased how much players get paid. He started with A-Rod. If you don't
Okay.
remember his
Yes.
contract, he got a huge contract with the Texas Rangers. He got caught with with steroids.
Yes.
He didn't have to pay anything back. It was in his clause. He had the no trade clause, but that was the highest player at the time. Every year that went by, it just kept increasing, increasing, increasing. So I think it got to a point where salary cap, it's not a big deal for baseball. So I think Scott Boras is the evil one right now. Like, who do you
Ooh.
think is the what it will lose in that?
Yeah, fortunate. I think it does lean a little bit more towards Boris, right? He's holding these players hostage. I know the players want to play and they want to get paid. So it's getting to this point where, like, are the players going to have to short sell themselves, go on a short term deal, not just to make some money? Maybe I just go for a 1 year, $40 million contract and just get paid for this season. It's kind of unfortunate that the Cy Young winner still cannot find a team at this point of the season
Yeah,
in spring training. And
yeah,
I think it's unheard of. And I think it's bad for the game of the baseball. And I think that's where Manfred's going to step in. Even if Boris likes it or not, if the owner's going to have to decide if they want this deadline because they need to stop it.
yeah. So True said tie both lose. All right, man. Hopefully there is a voting. We'll probably put it on later. Who will lose that? And we'll want to hear everybody's opinion actually to see who's the worst of them both because
Yeah, man. Because Boris even responded. Boris responded to Manfred's comments, and he
yeah,
clearly said, "This is a death wish for players. Doesn't value the players' value, and it's going to hurt them." So who knows, man? But something must be done because this cannot continue to happen every year. Next year, we have Pete Alonso coming into free agency, and we cannot see the same story again.
Yeah, yeah. Talking about Manfred, there was other things that happened where we are not we didn't include with this, but there's a lot of fans talking about the new uniforms this year. And this year,
Oh.
they have to, go ahead and post the picture on here. And a lot of people are talking about this. They're not the ones on the left. The ones on the left was the ones from last year.
Okay.
And then you're looking at the one at the right. It looks like small lettering. It looks like little league, little league stitching, or I don't know what you want to call it, but it's not the same. If you guys look at Justin Verlander's jersey, is almost touching the number, and it's really curved, and the letters are super small, and that's what people are complaining. So Rob Manfred said that, oh no, we went with that style because the players felt, the jerseys are lighter, the numbers feel like a little bit sleek, they're
Okay.
lightweight, they don't sweat, but he is not answering the question of the fan. The fan's concern is that last name. They're paying for that last name, and they're saying it's not centered. The MLB logo, as you can see, it's a little bit towards the S. It should be in the middle of the BS, not on the S. Can you see that? Right?
Yes, I totally see what you mean. And then these prices still cost the same. The price of the jersey for this year costs the same amount as last year's jerseys, and you're paying for a cheap, different jersey, man. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of them. I don't really like them. Now, if the players say they like them, I know Mike Trout said they actually like them, and I'm like, I think they just use Mike Trout as a puppet. They just needed like a MLB star to say something positive about these jerseys, just to try to sell. But unfortunately, no, not for me, man. I'm not spending $179 for a jersey like that.
So they tried them out last year in the All-Star game.
Yes,
and that's where everybody was saying that, oh, these are nice, but they don't get to see their last name. They're not the ones that are buying these jerseys. We're the ones that are buying. The fans are buying these jerseys, and we're voicing our concern. Rob Manfred's not listening. He says he does listen to the fans, but if he's actually listening, he will be like, oh yeah, you're right. The last name is not, on center. The last name looks too small. I mean, I just don't like it. $179 for a jersey like that. I don't think I'll buy it. I will probably buy a 2023. And there's a lot of jerseys too. Like you can buy like the vintage ones, or whatever, if you don't like these. But I think that's a big concern right now. I think a lot of people are kind of like, what the hell is this? I don't even like this. This is different.
And there's nothing better than starting the season with a brand new jersey of your favorite new player, your team's new signing, and coming with a player. It's kind of concerning, man, because it seems like the MLB is going cheaper on us, and they're still trying to make us pay the same price. It's not fair.
It happens. It happens. So, hey, I heard that you saw a movie today. What movie did you see?
Oh, talking about a movie, I watched 61. I never watched it. Nobody's ever told me about this movie. It's about Roger Maris breaking the all-time home run record of 61. And it's crazy. At the end of the story, it reminded me a lot about what happened to Anthony Rendon. That guy just struggled with the media. Man, he had so much pressure during that home run era. Like, everybody hated him the way he was responding to the media, that they would twist his words. And people were mad at him that he was breaking Babe Ruth's record, even rocking a Yankee uniform.
Wow.
So it's crazy. And he was teammates with Mickey Mantle. And it was amazing to see how much backlash he got being a Yankee. And, obviously Yankee fans are known to be ruthless and mean, but he got all of it just for passing the Babe's record. And they gave, even though he passed the record in 1961, it wasn't 30 years later that they actually named him the official home run leader, because they claim that Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs in 154 games. Now, Roger Maris hit 59 home runs in 154 games. But then he broke the record with the 8 extra games.
What? But so that counts.
Exactly. That's still a full season. And but the way Roger Maris presented it, it's like, well, Babe Ruth didn't have to travel to the West Coast like we did. We had to travel way more in these games. Our job is way harder than it was back in the day. And he got a lot of backlash for saying that.
So look, this is what I'm going to tell you about Yankee fans and Yankees in general. Like, remember when Judge broke the record? They said, oh, it's the American League because we're not counting the National League. So they're making up their own rules as they go. That's not fair, dude. It's the entire MLB. If it's the MLB, then that's the record. Forget AL, forget NL. There's DH on both leagues now. Like, it didn't happen when the NL had the pitchers. It happened when both have DH. So
Yes.
who's the home run king right now? It's still Barry Bonds. They're not
Exactly.
going to talk about, oh yeah, from an American League, Aaron Judge. Like, no one's going to remember that. Like, if
No.
you remember that, it's because it's recent and they're making commotion about it. They're flipping the switch to say, you know what, this is what happened. We're not counting Barry Bonds because of steroids or whatever. Whatever it is, Barry Bonds is still the king of home runs, not Aaron Judge. It sucks to hear that. Like Roger Maris, like had to deal with the media, and it's still happening, dude. And it's happening with your team, with the Angels.
Oh
I'll go
no,
ahead and,
let
and
me
post
look
this on here.
away.
So I heard that's today because we talked about Anthony Rendon not too long ago, and we were kind of talking about how he got injured and he didn't come back, and he came out and he said, like he didn't want to say what he was his injury when he was coming back, So he does have a big contract with the Angels, but
Yes.
today he decided to go, I guess, on media, and he
It was
said,
media day. Oh, and he just had to open up his mouth. He was better just staying quiet, Carlos. Why does this guy always have to talk?
"Well,
So if you
dude,
guys want to know,
this is the thing. This is
Tony.
the thing.
Oh my
This is the
God.
thing. This is the thing. When you're a baseball player, you're there to play baseball. You fall in love with the game. You're not there to talk to the media. You're not there to like date a superstar and become a glamorous person in the world. You're not there to be what's another word to be I guess I don't know a role model for these
Okay.
people. You're there to play the game. You're there to do that job. So
Right.
what
It's
he
your
said,
job.
yeah, it is a job. Do you go to your job and be like, I love it here. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to spend 24 hours here at my job. No, right?
Nope.
So I don't know why these people are giving them a hard time. Do you agree with me, or you're or you're against, or you feel like
Oh
everybody
man.
is picking on them or not picking on them? I don't know.
The people are mad at Carlos. I get it. It's a job, but he could have said, "I love my job. It's a dream job to play baseball every day. I get paid $650,000 a game just to wear a uniform." God damn! Once you put the money into it, people are like, "What the hell? Minimum wage is $8 across the country. This guy's making $650,000 a game." Carlos, just shut up and just say that you love the game of baseball, and that's it. I'm sorry. Just tell the media what it is. Just let them get away from you. You already had a rough time. But don't get me wrong. Anthony Rendon, they call him Tony in the clubhouse. He did show up 2 days earlier in spring training to work on his game. Ron Washington, there's already footage out there. Ron Washington was working with him today and was having to work hard. And
Yeah,
that's why the Angels went ahead and signed Ron Washington, even given his previous backlashes of things he's done in the past. He knows he's a guy that could change the culture and can make the players want to play the best for him. And he loves the game of baseball. He loves his job. And it's somebody that's going to hopefully get to Tony's brain and convince him that this job is great and the best job you could have in the world. Because
yeah.
the moment you don't want this job, bro, there's 100,000s of people that want to play just this game and want to play third base for the Angels.
That's true, but I don't think he doesn't love the game. I don't think
Yeah.
he's just doing it for a paycheck, or maybe he is just doing it for a paycheck. But I think it's kind of not fair for us fans to go ahead and say, hey, he doesn't want to play baseball. He just wants to get the money and go home. And I mean, who doesn't want to go home and get that money? But if he's doing something he likes and he loves, and I'm pretty sure he does. He showed up 2 days before. Why did he do that? Because he has love for the game, because
Right.
he wants to perform. It's just like I said, the media, like you said yourself, Roger Maris didn't like the media. He doesn't like the media. He looks like a quiet guy that just wants to go into his clubhouse, shit some, hey, what's up, Trout? Let's go play ping pong. Let's go do this. You can't do that. You can't speak freely in your own clubhouse because you have media all around. And
Yes.
sometimes you do want to shoot the shit. You want to go in there, play some music, get pumped and get ready to go. You see a guy in the corner, he's media, and you're like, oh shit, what does this guy want? What is he gonna write? You already have it in your head, and that messes with you. Like, unfortunately, for some players, they're not used to this. I know they go to class, they go to do all this stuff, and they got to get ready
Mm-hmm.
to know how to speak. That's the reality of baseball right now. And I mean, I feel for the guy. I feel for the guy because I just don't see um, media being so, like, I don't know why they're so ruthless with this guy, and maybe it's all because of what he answered previously, right, when he had his injury, and a lot of people, it didn't rub the people the right way, and then
Yes.
media is just eating it up. This is what's going out there, and it's not just him right now. Since it was media day out there in for the Angels, they're talking about Mike Trout. So
Ooh.
Mike Trout, wants to stay an Angel. He doesn't want to move from where he signed. This is one of the things that this is brought from old time baseball, not new time.
Yeah.
Old time baseball, they were committed to the team that they signed. So my Trout is sticking to it, and people are giving him a hard time. So
Yes.
why?
People
Why?
want him gone. Everybody wants Mike Trout out of there. But Mike Trout's just being loyal like every other previous MLB player has been. If you look back into time, Tony Gwynn never left the Padres, even though they made it to one World Series. You
Mm-hmm.
had Don Mattingly. He was part of the Yankee, never made the playoffs in his career. It won't be the first time a great player like Mike Trout doesn't go into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I really hope the best for the Angels. I really want to see Mike Trout again in the playoffs. And I think every MLB fan does too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the Angels are going through a little, hiccup now that Ohtani's gone, and we have to rebuild again. It's unfortunate, but that's part of the game. And I know that he will find a way to get back there, and that's what he does best. He is considered the greatest baseball player in this decade, so why not happen again? And I know he wants to stay loyal. He did mention that maybe a trade will be nice down the road if things don't change for the Angels organization. But really, Mike Trout and the GM and owner Artie Moreno that said that he's got all in for the Angels. He's going to spend his money, man. He's going to put a roster out there to compete. And with Mike Trout batting third, that's all we need.
Yeah. And he just needs to stay healthy in order for him to do that. And it's possible for him. When he said that, it kind of reminded me of when you see players that play with different teams, and I'm going to go ahead and use basketball like LeBron James. He plays with different teams. I feel like the loyalty sometimes is lost, right? It comes from back in the days. Back in the days, one player will play for one team, and then you'll hear it more often than none. Right now, you're hearing players go everywhere. They're going to different places. They're playing. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to win a championship here. Trade me because I don't want to deal with this.
Exactly.
So with Kershaw, he signed with the Dodgers. Everybody thought he was going to go to Texas. And and his career, like what he did last year, it wasn't fitting. So I felt like a lot of people felt maybe he is gonna stay here in LA, but there is a little bit of doubt he might go to Texas. He's loyal, even though he's not saying he's loyal. That's loyalty. That's loyalty,
right,
and that's old school. That's really old school.
And you gotta respect that, man. Yeah. You gotta respect that because a lot of players don't do that, Carlos. People will leave a team for a championship. Will sign that 1-year deal just to get that ring. And I get it. It's nice to win a World Series ring, but it's also a players really admire when he's loyal to a team, man.
Yeah.
And I know it sucks. He's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer, but it's one of those things that he just wants to stay with Anaheim, man. He paid $465 million to live in Anaheim, Orange County area. Who doesn't want that money, guys? Like, come on, man. That's a lot of money. I'll stay loyal if I have to for that price.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the Angels are going to do something to accommodate his needs as to what he needs to get to the playoffs. He just can't make it on his own. He can't do it his own. He is getting older, but he's still in that age where he's prime Trout. I know he has that injury, but I still feel like, you know what? That's pretty cool that he's standing his ground, and he's staying with the Angels. Hopefully there is especially because you're a fan of them, hopefully do get their starting rotation going. If they go ahead after Blake Snell, Scott Boras is they're holding them hostage.
and the Angels will be that team to pay. That's the unfortunate part. We wouldn't be the ones paying, but man, Anthony Rendon, if he has a bounce back season, I really hope those $38 million of Rendon makes him convince him a way to play the game better this year because we really need him in his offense because it's been hard to see him just play not even 40 games a year. And it's like, man, here we go. Spend all this money for a guy that cannot stay on the field.
True. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and post this right quick. And I just want to go ahead and mention that we do have a fantasy baseball for fans from Real Talk Baseball that we want to go ahead and invite you to. If you want to go in, there's no fee. It's free. You just go in. There is a prize at the end of the season. If you win it, you'll get a prize. We'll make a Real Talk jersey for you, and we'll put, what year it was, and we'll call you a champ, of course, of the fantasy baseball. So if you're out there and you're interested, go ahead and send us a email or go ahead and send us, whatever you have out there to go ahead and contact us. We're on all the social media platforms. So you could go ahead and hit that, or take a picture or put whatever the picture up here in the corner so you can get our, link tree. We are on Spotify. I don't think we can message on Spotify, but we are on there if you want to listen. We have the Twitter, which is X, TikTok, YouTube, of course, and then Facebook and Instagram. We are on Instagram too, so you guys can go ahead and do it there. Um, yeah. Anything else to add for this one, Ernie?
Nah, man, come play fantasy baseball with us, man. You guys will go ahead and also be competing with Real Talk Fantasy. We'll be part of playing one roster spot, so we'll go against you guys as well. So it'll be interesting to challenge you guys.
Yeah, that would dope, man. That'd be really dope. And we got to the part where did you know? And I don't know if a lot
Oh,
of people knew this one, and I'll go ahead and post this picture. I don't know if it's Ricky Ricardo and no, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's Marilyn Monroe and Dimmagio. So they got married in
Ooh.
1954, and they only lasted 9 months, but they eloped. That's why she's not wearing the white dress. They didn't tell anybody. They went ahead and got married, and I didn't know about this.
You didn't
It's
know
pretty
this?
crazy. No, I didn't know this. This is
Yeah,
news to me.
man. Joe was married to her for like just a couple, like 6 or 9 months.
Yeah.
They didn't last very long. They couldn't find time to hang out with one another, and they just separated. But
Yeah.
it was funny after watching last night's movie. Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle didn't like each other, and I was like, that was kind of interesting fact. Mickey Mantle didn't like Joe because Joe thought he was beneath him.
What?
Joe thought he was a better player. Like Mickey Mantle, he's just a rookie. Obviously, Mickey Mantle was coming up at age of 19 years old, and Joe DiMaggio was towards his end of his career. So he didn't like Mickey Mantle that much. And it was kind of an interesting fact. So that's another did you know? I'll throw that out there for you guys.
That was probably one of those things where, hey, man, the new kid is trying to take my spot, or trying to take
Right.
my glow. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was, right?
So they broke it down, right?
Yeah.
Babe Ruth was number 3. Lou Gehrig was number 4. Joe DiMaggio was number 5. And Mickey Mantle was supposed to be number 6 to follow the footsteps of Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
But Mickey wasn't feeling it. So Mickey went ahead and changed his number to number 7.
To number 7. Hey, what's up, Javi? How's it going, man? We're out here doing this show. I know you're going to work, or you're on your way to work, or you're already at work.
Nice.
But, good luck today. Have fun out there. I know his work. We just talked about Anthony Rendon, and he doesn't like work either.
He doesn't like baseball, man. Come on, man. I hope he does.
Yeah, dude. So I didn't know that, Ernie. I didn't know that they didn't like each other, and what I wonder what other MLB players, and that's what I want to get to. I didn't mention it when we were talking about Rob Manfred, and he was talking about the deals and all that stuff and all those blackouts he has. Mm-hmm. He's opposed to having players go live on Instagram or all these social media platforms, which I think they should get granted so more people can invest in these players and see how they are. Oh, you know what? This guy grew up in, let's just say in Texas. I grew up in Texas. Maybe I have a chance to be just like him. So maybe the guys that do want to be part of the social media should be, compensated and of course allowed to do it, because that'll grow the game. I don't know why they haven't even tried that. I know I think NHL is trying to do that now. They're trying to have their players be more involved so the league can grow. And I think that's the thing we need to go in baseball needs to happen. MLB needs to go ahead and look at these platforms and say, you know what? We have players that are interested. They already have their Instagrams and all these things. Like, why not allow them to do it? Right. And I mean, would you be against that?
No, not at all. You're seeing this in every sport right now. And I know Mookie Betts had a podcast last year, right? It was kind of interesting through Bleacher Report. It was awesome to see him interview other MLB players just like him and see what they thought about the game and find interesting facts about them that we didn't know. And I thought it was really cool. He would travel, say, for example, to Seattle, Pittsburgh, and he would interview whatever player he was friends with out there and got to know a little bit about them.
That's true. Yeah. And I want to see more of that, because you get to see, their training style, their music taste, what they like, what they don't like, what they eat, how they exercise. Those are things that young kids need to hear, because they think it's just going out there, practice, and that's it. No, it takes way more than just going to practice one day.
Sorry to cut you off, but back in the day, in the 90s, I remember before the games on Fox, they used to have just a whole special episode about talking to MLB players and getting to know a little bit about them. And it was amazing watching that. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was like before the game, pre-game show. It would always have a segment about the players and getting to know them. Because when these players do come out on MLB Network and they do talk, it's just like, they just say the basic answers. It's like just talking to regular media. you don't really get to know a little bit about them. You just kind of see like talking baseball, and you don't really get to know how they grew up and how they started playing the game of baseball.
That's so true. That's so true. Well, yeah, man. There's not a lot of traffic. If you guys are out there and you guys want to post a question, go ahead and post it right now. We are live. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube. We're
We're
live
on
on three
Instagram
platforms.
today. We are on
Yeah,
Instagram
we're on
today.
Instagram.
Wow. Okay, this is our first time on Instagram Live, so hopefully a lot of people are tuning in. But yeah, if ever you're watching us, make sure to like and subscribe. I know there's not a lot of traffic this free agency. Thanks, Scott Boras. We're here waiting to hear any announcement. Spring training is starting this week, and we're ready.
Yeah, we are
And
ready.
the next upcoming weeks, we'll be talking about division winners and who we think will be going into the playoffs and who will be winning the World Series.
Yeah.
But we can't give you those answers yet without not knowing these major notable free agents where they're going. You know, what if Blake Snell goes to the Yankees, Carlos? And we're like, oh shoot, the Yankees are top favorites to go to the World Series now.
Yeah, they become something. They become a stronger team. And you know what? Let me ask you this then. You think Blake Snell is going to the Yankees?
Well, it looks like it's gonna happen, man. I think Brian Cashman missed out on Yamamoto, and he has to find a way to make up that ground. And Snell is like the best option out there for them. I don't think Jordan Montgomery will go back, but I definitely see Blake Snell going there. I know there's been talks with the Angels and Giants. I just don't see Snell choosing the Angels. I know he's a Mariners kid. He grew up in Seattle, but Seattle already has a deep roster, deep starting rotation. So I only see the Yankees making that offer, willing to pay over $250 for him.
Okay.
So,
And what about Montgomery? Where is he going? Or where do you think he's going?
He's going somewhere East Coast, man. I'm pretty sure he's gonna either go back to the Cardinals, Phillies, Cubs, somewhere out there. And
You don't think the Blue Jays?
Oh, that's a nice one. I didn't think about that one. That's a really good one there.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays are kind of quiet on this. I feel like they will try to get him, and that's another guy that's going out to another AL East team that's going to make it a little bit competitive. What about Chapman? I heard the Giants are looking into it. I don't know if there's a deal in place yet, but I feel like he is going to fit with the Giants if he decides to go over there.
Well, there's traffic now that the Mariners are making a push for Chapman.
Oh, really?
Given that they traded Eugenio Suarez in the middle of the offseason this year, so it looks like they need a spot for third base. I know they have Luis Urias there, but if you could get Matt Chapman, why not go for it? You know,
true. And what about Bellinger? Where do you think he's going?
Oh, I think the Giants are going to make a splash for him, man.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. But does he want to go to San Francisco? That's one thing. JD Martinez, where do you think he's going?
Oh man, this is a tough one right here. I really wish my Angels make a move for this guy. I wouldn't. Now that we lost Ohtani, he would be the perfect replacement in DH role. And why not have JD out there?
Well, so I want to go ahead and I just want to say I think he's going to go to Arizona, man. Arizona has been interested in him. They've been looking at him. I think they just don't want to pay more than what the Dodgers paid. I think the Dodgers paid, I want to say 15 or 12. And they want to come under. They don't want to go over. He is getting older. He is, but he's still crushing the ball. So
he hit over 30 home runs last year.
Exactly. And Arizona needs that one guy, that veteran guy that's going to push them over the top. They just become a little bit better than what they were last year. They go ahead and get JD Martinez. And I know Hyun-Jin Ryu is not on here, but Hyun-Jin Ryu could be one of those sneaky players that can go ahead and go to the Yankees if the Yankees want him, because he's a lefty pitcher. And who doesn't need lefty pitchers? Everybody needs a lefty pitcher, you know? So I feel like Hyun-Jin Ryu will fit with the Yankees, but he could go, I think, with the Giants, because the Giants are looking just for anybody. If you really think about it, the Giants are offering money to like a lot of players. You know, they just not going over there, but some are going. You know, they're besides the Dodgers spending money, they're the next ones that are.
Yeah, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of money,
and they have a lot of money. So, Hyun-Jin Ryu to the Giants. I feel like. Do you feel like he's going to go anywhere else? I mean, that's a tough one.
It really is. I don't really know where he could possibly fit in, but maybe with injuries coming up in spring training, I know he'll find a role in somewhere that he can find a new job.
Yeah. So, see, that's why I said Scott Boras has the upper hand, because you have the Orioles that if they make another trade for like,
they need to.
Yeah, if they make another trade, they surprised us right away. They were like Corbin Burns, like what the hell? So that's a strong division already. So I mean,
Hey,
yeah.
there's a couple of names thrown out there for the Orioles. I know with Kyle Bradish going to the IL, looks like he had a sore forearm.
Hmm.
Sorry, a sore elbow. Didn't
Elbow.
look it didn't look right. And if he does have to go Tommy John, that is a guy you lose for a whole year. And he was having a great season last year. Now there's also mentioning that John Means, their pitcher, will be out for the first month into the season. And now you're stuck with Corbin Burns and Grayson Rodriguez, right? Grayson Rodriguez?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And then so you
Yeah.
start questioning that starting rotation now. And there's a couple names linked to the Orioles. We got Dylan Cease out there that could possibly be traded. And Jesus Luzardo from the Marlins. So those are a couple names to watch out for, and a couple teams that could move on from these players and get top prospects for them.
True. True. So there was another move with the Padres. They have Sander Bogarts moved to second base, and then now they have him going to play shortstop. And that was a pretty surprising move when I heard it. But I mean, it's all for the team. They still need a right fielder, or I mean left fielder. I think Profar's going to take over, but I don't think he's going to be the starting, left fielder. So I'm pretty sure they're going to try to get someone else out there. They're probably going to trade. They're looking like Jorgen, the guy from the Red Sox. They're trying to trade for him. He played in the WBC. Jorgen, what's his last name? Damn, I'm blanking out, dude.
Durian Duran?
Duran, yeah, that's who they're looking at. So if they get Duran, then they'll sneak him into center field, and then they just, they'll have alternates. But they're missing that one, outfielder out there. So we'll see what happens.
Lot
with
of
the
moves.
Padres.
A lot of
There's a
moves
lot
for
of
that.
moves. So spring training hasn't completely started. I think the first game is next week, or no,
Thursday.
Thursday already, right? This
Thursday,
this
Friday,
Thursday.
this week. Sometime this week it's starting.
Yeah, it's starting. So it's going to be fun. We're going to get to see it on MLB Network. All right, we reached to that point where we already talked about everything we needed to talk about. Go ahead and give us your last mentions, Ernie.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you could go ahead and like and subscribe to this show, we really appreciate it. We are continuing to grow, and being sponsored by Rival Fantasy, we're proud to be part of them and promoting them. And I hope to see you guys in there, because can't wait to gamble with you guys a little bit and challenge me to a couple games out there. It would be fun, right, Carlos?
It would be
We could
fun
go.
if you.
We could go to head-to-head matchups and see who really knows more of their sports this year.
And it's not just that. I mean, it's going to be really fun once we get that thing going, because once the baseball season starts, that's when we're going to be able to give you picks and like, oh, I got this guy. Who has this guy? We'll be able to match up and explain a little bit more about Rival Fantasy, because we do have the link down there. If you go ahead and put $10, they'll match it. You'll make $20, and then of course you'll be able to play with that money. So I want to just say, like, thank you for everybody joining us, all the birthday wishes and everything. I welcome it. Thank you for all that stuff. I just want to, be really thankful that we're on here. We're live. We're still in good health, and we're still talking. We're still breathing. We're still loving baseball. And from here on out, we're going to do it all the way to November. Once baseball season's over, we're going to try to get on every Monday or Tuesday if it has to change, because life happens sometimes, right? So we can change the date, but one thing for sure is that we're getting on live. We do have the fantasy portion of it, which is Will and Chavi. They get on, they talk to fantasy baseball. Go ahead and listen to that. They have their previews on all the positions, and they have some good ones. So if you don't like some of them, go ahead and comment and tell them, hey man, I don't like that pick. That's always welcome. That's what we're here for. But yeah, from all of us here, Real Talk Baseball, I'm CarloBaseball. This is Ernie Orange. Real Talk Baseball, signing out.